a.m. and TrentoVision.tv from the world's leading think tank laboratory, buried deep in an undisclosed building in hostile territory where evil and corruption is exposed. You're about to enter the Tom Trento Show.
Dearborn, all hands man your battle station.
Tom Trento heads United West, a group that says it defends Western civilization against the onslaught of Islam.
Oh, not bad. This is not bad. Oops. Are we on already?
Yeah, man.
Did the folks see me playing with a Cuban cigar?
Yep.
They did.
Yep.
Well, there's no cigar, okay? So I broke no federal laws. It's just an empty case. Just an empty case from a fabulous Romeo Julieta. Now, if you're under 6, you should not be smoking cigars. If you're over 6, talk to your parents about it. But see the thing I'm wearing today, guys?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Pretty
debonair, huh?
Yeah. Where are you coming from? Or did you have something big before the show today?
No, man, look. Gate one. Gotta put my glasses on for this. Heritage Study Program with Frank Gaffney, Tom Trento. There we go.
The
right
Israel
there.
trip.
Israel trip.
Let me ask you, is that like walking around with a bullseye?
All day. Well, everybody in Israel, whatever trip you are on, you have to wear one of these goofy things. Because when you walk into the hotel, into the lobby, into here, into the bus, so we wore this. So it was a week ago today that we got back from
That's right. I can remember the smell.
Life-changing, stinky. The last few days were a little stinky, but the life-changing trip to Israel. And yes, we did buy a couple of Cubano cigars legally in Israel, and somehow they disappeared before we got over the border, so everything was cool. And if you've ever seen a box of Cuban cigars from Israel, that's what it looks like.
Jubins.
Cubans.
Jubins.
Hebrew, yeah.
They're Jubins.
Jubins. These are Juban cigars, right? We brought the box back to, as a little memento. I got a bunch of mementos, in fact, on today's show. Tom Trento here, 21 October, Monday, 2000. It's October already, folks. Do you believe that? Next week, your clocks change, and everybody in South Florida has dodged. It looks like too soon to tell, inshallah, but it looks like we dodged another hurricane season with like naught. Or as they say in overseas, zero, nothing, no hurricane.
Don't tell that to Al Gore.
Yes. No, wait, I'm sorry. It's to the end of November. We have
maybe that's why Al Gore had to sell his TV station to Al Jazeera, was the lack of proof behind everything he stands for.
That could be. That could very well be. But now it's Al Gore Zera on DirecTV 347, one of my new favorite channels, because as we have explained on this show many times, there are the violent jihadis who say, here's the Quran, there's an infidel, kill the infidel in one way or the other. And there's the pre-violent, non-violent cultural jihadis. Here's the Quran, there's the infidel. Somehow squash them, destroy them by their own hand if necessary. So we've seen that. In fact, today, Monday morning, earlier on Fox News, and we'll have this piece for you, our very good friend Steve Emerson was on, and he was previewing his new movie, Grand Deception. And it's quite similar to Obsession and all of these, but he expanded on the role of the Muslim Brotherhood infiltrating the United States at various organizational or institutional levels, and one of which obviously was the White House. And
no.
Yeah, sadly. So he laid all of that out, and we have found in our work that there are folks out there that want to destroy our civilization by our own hand from within, not through violent means. And in fact, we often bring, or we try to bring these folks on to discuss with them, but 1 or 2 times on the show, then they kind of run away. We may have one tomorrow, though. We may have an individual who believes that Islam is compatible not just with Western civilization, not just with American Republic philosophy, but in fact the Republican Party. So
Is it a relative of Grover Norquist?
it could very well be.
Could it be his wife's sister or cousin?
Well, Abdullah, good to see you. How was your weekend?
Fantastic. Yours, Trento.
I did a lot of work. The re-entry from Israel back to reality here in the States in terms of the work we had to do was quite a bit. Did a lot of work, got a lot done. We have 5 or 6 trips in the next 30 days, and we'll tell the folks
you will
about
be
them
busy,
then.
no?
Be busy whacking people over the head. Your kind of people with ideologically whacking, that is, not Italian whacking. 2 different things.
Very
so what did
funny.
you do? Let me ask you what you did.
What did I do? I do a lot of reading, a lot of time reading the Quran, talking to friends around the world. It has been a very violent weekend, Trento.
Oh, no.
Yes, and my people have been blowing themselves up all over the world.
Oh, that's surprising. But we'll have a few of those stories, too. Today on TrentoVision here, folks, you see this thing?
Tuna fish.
You know what it is.
Why are you holding tuna fish?
Every morning when we came down from our rooms into the dining room at these wonderful hotels. Now, I'm telling you this to give you a little insight into how what we had to deal with on our trip. I gained 10 pounds, about 8 pounds actually. What we had to deal with on our trip, but also we set a date for the next trip to Israel. Gaffney, Trento, Ronnie Wexler running it. We set that trip for November 9, 2014. Put it in your calendars.
I'm putting it in right now. I wouldn't miss it.
We had some older Jewish folks with us, and let me tell you, you got to be in a little bit of shape, though these folks did well, because there is a
I'm
bit
going to
of
start
walking
working out tomorrow.
Do it, man. But let me tell you this, and my advice to those who want to come. You're tricking me here, cameraman. I'll go right here. My advice to those who do want to come on this trip next year: start doing this before you go on the trip. Okay, you get 2 meals usually, breakfast and dinner, and they're buffets, all you can eat. And they have Mediterranean food. I must have eaten about 2 million olives. I love olives, just saying. Olives and fish and meats, and no ham, no pork, that's for sure. Everything else, eggs, any way you can imagine, food, breads. Then you go out during the day and usually stop someplace for lunch, and you have a shawarma. You know what a shawarma is, Abdullah?
Of course I know what the shawarma
Michael
is.
knows what a shawarma is. I do. You remember it? You were on the last trip. We went last year. Mike.
I remember that.
Where did we have the best shawarma on the face of the earth?
In Paris.
No. Well, we did have them in Paris. They were very good, actually.
Well, Paris is half Muslim. Of course it is good there.
Yeah, we were in well, it's Jewish food. We were in the Jewish section of Paris, great shawarma. But in Netanya, Israel, we went to that little store, and we were all around that place and causing a big commotion. It was fabulous. So you have something nice for lunch, and on one of the days we went to the Druze community in Israel. Anybody know the Druze community? D-R-U-Z-E, Druze community.
They are not Muslim.
They are Muslim.
They are Muslim, yes. They are
Make-believe
heretic.
Muslims.
Yeah, they are not. They're
No,
like
they're-
they're almost. In that we do not consider that a real Muslim.
Yeah, they're Muslims who are Israelis and who have sworn loyalty. It's right on the Golan Heights, the Druze area. So when they were in Syria, they were happy Shia Muslims. When Israel took it over, they became, okay, we'll get along, and they're not very religious one way or the other, though they do wear headscarves and all of that. But many Druze, there's about 100,000 of them in Israel. Many of them joined the army, and they're loyal Muslim soldiers in the Israeli army. And we met some, and we'll bring some to you on our videos in the days ahead. And why am I talking about them? And we'll tell you about them because they're very interesting people. But we ate at a Drew's restaurant, and again, ate like crazy. And then when you get home at 6, 7 o'clock at night, you go eat at 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night, and you eat again. So I'm home a week, and nothing fits me anymore except these shirts. So today I started Mark 2. Mark also started.
That is funny.
I started my 1 can of tuna fish today, and I already ate it. It's empty. It's already empty. So and we have a race. Mark and I have a race because I gained 5 pounds. He gained 10 or 11.
That's proportionate.
I know. We have a race, and I think it's like a good cigar to the winner or whatever. But from today, the 21st of October, here on TrentoVision, WNN 1470 on your AM dial at 12 minutes after 5 o'clock, Mark Campbell and I have a race to see who loses the most amount of weight. So you can...
By when?
By the 13th of November. So what's that, 10...
How do you pick that
23
date?
days. We have to get on an airplane on the 13th.
Oh, and you don't want to get charged extra for fat guy rate?
There's a lot of things I could say. But along those lines, when we were in Israel 2 weeks ago, we spent a day at the Knesset, which is similar to the Capitol, the U.S. Capitol, and we met with some Knesset members and then some key leaders in the Knesset. And the Israelis have an outreach program to allies of Israel, Zionist allies, and a whole host of ways they reach out to different demographic groups. One of the groups they reach out to are evangelical Christians, right? So there is a conference put on by the Israelis in Washington, D.C., starting on the 13th, 14th of November for 2 or 3 days. And we have been invited as guests of the coordinating entities. And we're going to learn about better ways to work more closely with Israel. Israel lives in a very dangerous neighborhood. We've heard it said, and it's a very controversial statement, that Israel is an oasis in the middle of the jungle. And
Are you calling my people animals?
No. It's a metaphor.
I
It's a metaphor.
You should be careful, infidel.
And I'm going to use a metaphor later when we get into President Obama, who spoke just earlier today around 1 o'clock. And I'm going to show you a metaphor for Obamacare, but not yet. We're not going to go there yet. We've got a couple of other items of business to do. Let's cut to CJ and say hello to CJ. Hi, CJ. Hello, Tom. How are you? Okay, let's come back to me. Oh, wait. We have an imitator. Go back to CJ. Oh, that's not nice, Abdullah. Why are you doing that? You say CJ has a funny laugh?
It sounds like a witch's cackle.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to allow you to continue to denigrate CJ when she is not here today.
I will wait till she returns to continue.
Okay, you can do that. Let's say hello to Mark. J. Mark Campbell.
Go ahead.
Hi, Mark. No Mark. What's going on? Where is Mark?
Mark's your responsibility.
Yes, right. No CJ today, Monday, October 21st, or tomorrow. I don't think they'll be here either tomorrow.
Wait a second. And I'm still recovering from my camel accident.
I know, you had a camel accident, your hand's all bandaged, you should have gone to the hospital, you didn't. But now that Obamacare is out there, Obamacare coming up in a couple of minutes, now that Obamacare is out there, maybe things will be better for you.
I already tried that like a few weeks ago.
Last night, folks, I put together, Sunday night, actually all day Sunday, I put together the work for the next 30 days. I laid out everything we're doing each day, all the shows we have to do, all the videos we have to produce. We're going on 5 trips, something like 5 or 6 trips. and trips to Daytona, to Sarasota, to Venice, to Washington, to here, to there, to Detroit, all over the place. And I got dizzy putting all this material together. But I guess our colleagues, CJ and Mark, got a little dizzier because they contacted me this morning and they said, please, can we have a little bit of time off to get ready for all of this? We have some stuff to do. And I said, yes, of course. You can take some time off. So CJ is running around getting ready for the next 30 days.
You think she's out of the house yet?
She's down at the beach, hanging out at the beach, I guarantee it. But other than that...
And Mark is probably
Mark
staring at the beach.
Yeah, he's probably staring. Mark has a ton of editing to do. Our Israel trip. This Friday, we have a special show for everybody. This Friday on TrentoVision, 5 o'clock. Pamela Geller will be featured. We did a presentation the other day, Pamela, myself, and Wild Bill for America. And it was about a 2-hour deal. Mark's got to squeeze all that down into 1 hour. So he's working on editing, B-roll.
All you do is play it at double speed.
We were going to do that, and we may do that. But that's Friday, so he's home editing that right now. And Friday night we're speaking up in, where are we going? Daytona. Daytona Beach, Florida. We will be there, I think 6 or 7 o'clock for all you folks on the Treasure Coast. We're going to be in Daytona at the SICA Community Center, SICA, SICA Community Center. 6 o'clock Friday night, October 20-something, 25th, I think it is, right?
Yeah.
Is that the date?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we will be up there doing a briefing, national security briefing on the Israel trip. And then what the heck is going on in the Middle East with Syria and Egypt and all that stuff, and how it relates to President Obama and his managing not only of domestic but of foreign affairs in this country, Friday. And then the week after that, we're in Sebring. And then,
Are you going to be racing your car there?
Oh, man, I was...
That's a nice track
I've
for you.
been on the track there. But no racing this time. We'll be in Sebring. Then the week after that, we're in, and I'm just off the top of my head because I remember, we're in Sarasota. Then week after that, Venice. Then Detroit. Then Washington. And
Can
then
we go to
else.
Dearborn?
No Dearborns.
Please, Tom.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you really want to go to Dearborn, I can take you to Dearborn in a couple of minutes. How about that?
That sounds fantastic.
I got a couple little items of business to do here. Then, Abdullah, I will take you. You're Shia, right? Or you're Sunni?
No, you animal.
Excuse me.
Please.
Do you guys really fight about that stuff? What's the big deal?
Tom, do not ask such silly question. You know we fight about this.
Look, there was a time where, as a Christian, full disclosure, the Protestants and the Catholics didn't get along too well.
They bomb each other like we do.
They beat the hell out of each other, but they finally realized this isn't doctrine. It was political. It wasn't doctrine. That's a very important distinction. The internal battles between Christianity were political battles, not doctrinal battles, because the doctrine is very easy there just to look at. Conversely, you guys battle over doctrine.
Yes, absolutely.
Whether or not the chain of command from Muhammad down, whether it goes through men or goes through the bloodline. You guys believe it goes through men, the Sunnis.
We believe it, Muhammad make the decision. It go through his inner circle, and it is a decision. It has nothing to do with the blood through your body. Unlike these, it is like feudal system. To think that the blood entitled you to rule is ridiculous. It is what it is in your brain, not your vein. You like that? It is what is in your brain, not your vein.
Okay, that's pretty good.
I
good
just
here at
make
20
that
minutes.
up.
At 20 minutes after 5 o'clock. Pretty good, Abdullah, pretty good. And he just gave the essence of a segment we're going to have in a little bit, folks, where in the Hajj, which we looked at last week, which is one of the 5 pillars of Islam, the Hajj, H-A-J-J, you're required, man or woman, if you're capable, physically capable, to make it to Mecca one time in your life and to walk around the Kaaba, the moon rock, and all of this stuff. Totally pagan activity, but it's required in the failed system of Islam, the failed political system of Islam. And we're going to bring you a little story where some of the loving members of peace traveled all the way from Dearborn, Michigan to Mecca. That's a long damn trip, let me tell you.
You
It's
should
15
know.
hours, yeah. Well,
You were right there.
a group of folks from Dearborn, Michigan, Shia Muslims out of Lebanon, wanted to experience the inner love and peace and sanctity and spirituality of the Hajj. And they went there, and I'm not going to tell you what happened. I'll tell you in just a couple of minutes. But first, let's go to Mr. Obama, who feels he is invincible and who may well be invincible at 21 minutes after 5 o'clock on WNN 1470. Let's go to the promotional email that we sent out earlier today. Put it up on the screen. I want to read it to the for the folks that are driving in your car. As you know, folks, we're broadcast on WNN. WNN. Sometimes we say that quickly. WNN. People don't know what it is, but it's 3 letters.
WWNN 1470 on your AM radio dial.
All radio stations have 4 letters, but because WWNN has 2 W's, they've shortened it to WNN 1470.
Lazy Westerners.
I know. But let's take a look at your screen right now for you thousands of people driving in your automobiles at 22 minutes after 5 o'clock. Anywhere from Miami all the way up to Orlando, you see what?
I am invincible.
Yeah, it's like Muhammad Ali. He looks a little bit like Muhammad Ali, an early Muhammad Ali. There's a picture of President Obama with his big, flashy smile, and the 3 words, I am invincible, on a background of almost an imperial Japanese type flag. But it's a great graphic. We put it out today. And then slide that thing up, Mike, so I can read it. And here's what we wrote. And folks, we're in some very difficult days. I'm speaking to all Americans that are registered to vote, and then all of you who ought to be registered to vote. We wrote, and I'm reading, is it me, or do you notice that no matter how badly President Obama messes up, he always manages to come out on top, a winner, a hero, a victor, invincible? Sometimes Tom Trento, I got to shake my head and say, hey, didn't anybody see what Obama just did or heard what he said? Rhetorically asked. Our president, going on, is doing exactly what, and this is a segue to a very important understanding of the president. Our president is doing exactly what a doctrinaire, anti-colonialist does. That is, govern in such a way to categorically weaken the United States military and devastate the United States economy. Those are critical for anti-colonialists so that the colonizing country, in this case the United States, doesn't have the strength to extend itself or the financial wherewithal to maintain the extension of itself. And here's the definitive question. Can President Obama and his socialist policies, because that's what they are, let's just cut to the chase, his socialist policies, can they be defeated before he radically transforms America into Kenya? That's the question. Watch us, watch this show. In fact, I would ask all of you, whether you're at Tea Party Community or you're watching or listening through Bare Naked Islam, or you know us through Steve Kane and Brian Craig, WNN every morning, or whether Watchdog Wire, many of our stories are there. Wherever you're listening, iHeartRadio, WWNN Radio, or watching TrentoVision, The United West, any of these media that we have out, send a little note to your friends right now and say, you got to watch this show. That's how we're growing. People are sending it around.
You know,
and all this week we'll be looking at President Obama and his mishandling of the economy, of healthcare, and of national security. Yes.
Dr. Swire's been putting up quite a few of our shorter videos and helping expose us to the people. And anyone, we're starting to throw some shorter videos up. So if you don't have a whole hour to watch the show, please visit the website at YouTube, youtube.com/TheUnitedWest. and hit videos, and then hit playlists. If you hit playlists, I'm creating new playlists, and in there you'll see some options for show shorts, some quick clips, and some funny stuff. And if you don't have a whole hour to watch the show, there's some shorter videos in there, and if you enjoy them, pass them along.
You weren't seeing what we were doing, were you?
Oh, I saw.
I got to do it the right way
It
here.
reminded me of Pong almost, or Ping.
Oh, wait. All right, put it back. Let's see.
Okay, for those on the radio, Tom is wiping the lower third of the
wiping.
screen with his name.
In reverse, no less. In reverse.
Pretty impressive.
All right, so look, President Obama, let's take a minute and discuss this. You know what? I put this up on Facebook. Which one? The fainting one? Yeah. I put this up on Facebook. I put this up on Facebook today and said, what do you guys think? Why is President Obama invincible? And man, if the thing lit up, Facebook lit up, my email lit up. And, you know, a lot of people have a sort of a theological interpretation. He's Satan. He's Satan himself, you know. And a lot of more political analysis saying the press is on his side and the education and all the institutions are on his side. And it's probably a little bit of both of that. But as we know, Obamacare is a categorical mess as a healthcare system. And the rollout was even more humorous. I actually tried to go on and sign up and couldn't do it. So he held a press conference this morning. And right now it's 27 minutes after 5 o'clock. President Obama, he held a press conference this morning around, I guess it was around 12:30. And what occurred? What we're going to show you right now, if you haven't seen this, we spoke about a metaphor earlier. A metaphor is a real-life incident that serves as a graphic illustration of a larger truth, okay? And as our team is in production and we're watching President Obama preparing for this show, as we are watching and we're all going, you know, this Obamacare is a joke, it's dead, it doesn't have any life in it, it's just weak, it's horrible. And as President Obama is trying to prop up the website, the metaphor of all metaphors happened right next to him. Take a look at this.
To free families from the pervasive fear that one illness. There you go. You're okay. I'm right here. I got you. Yeah. No, you're okay. This happens when I talk too long. You'll be okay.
A little more volume, yeah.
You got it?
Oh my
Replay that,
word!
replay that.
Oh, we're gonna replay this a couple of times. Let me set it up again. This is so critically important, and we got to thank this young lady for fainting right next to President Obama as he's speaking about health care.
Well, you know why she fainted? She got her new premium bill.
Look, if you are on a podium long enough and it's hot enough and you didn't eat lunch and all of that, this happens a lot. I mean, it's happened to leaders and everything. But for it to happen today, for it to happen next to President Obama, as he's propping up this totally limp and failing system of Obamacare, and she faints right next to him, there is a God, folks. You can't ask.
That is the best metaphor for this debacle ever.
And he, in his invincible glory, waxing eloquently as he's speaking and saying, well, look, Obamacare is great. We have millions of people that are signing up. The website's bad. And whenever you are wrong, always argue with yourself, but remove yourself. The website's terrible. It needs to be, we all know it's terrible. It needs to, well, I have the best minds in the world coming to fix it. Now, it begs the question to say, why didn't you fix it before you put it out? What is this program going to be like? How many people are going to die or be mistreated or misdiagnosed because you didn't properly, and the Republicans and many conservatives and Democrats have been saying, look, we're changing 1/6 of the federal government. We had the best health care in the world, and you decided to change it because you're an anti-colonialist and you want to bring health care down on parity with second and third world countries so that people aren't envious of us. It's something going on in your head, President Obama, why you think that's important. You managed to convince a bunch of people who thought they were getting free health care that it's right. But who in their right mind would take something that's the best in the world and then radically change it and force it on the people when everybody's saying it's not ready? Well, he's so good, Mr. Invincibility, that today he was waxing eloquently about the tremendous essence of the program, but the failed capacity of the website. Here, again, we're going to show you. I'm going to show you a couple of times. Because if anything should stick in your mind that definitively defines Obamacare, it's this young girl standing next to the president at the White House, fainting as he's explaining the wonders and beauty of Obamacare. Take another look.
To free families from the pervasive fear that one illness.
Now, for those of you driving, I'm gonna let it play out. We're playing it again.
This happens when I talk too long.
Did she smile? Yeah, she tried to smile.
Yeah. Was that funny?
Okay, we're going to play it once again with a little bit of our creative explanation. We'll put a little dialogue. Let's put dialogue in there like Mysteries Theater 2000. Is it 2000 or 3000?
3000.
Mysteries Theater 3000, okay? Now, for those of you driving in your car, we have a shot of President Obama at the presidential podium in front of in the Rose Garden talking about health care. And this very... I mean, the White House is great at staging. They staged his team, as a beautiful president that's just a wonderful guy. And then you see the empty suit now 4 or 5 years into this. Well, they staged this event. They put the market they're going for, the market that the White House is going for in order to make this program work. You dopes who are 21, 18, 19, 21 to 35. You dopes are paying for this thing, and so he's got to trick you into saying it's good for you for the next 40 years. So he's got a nice-looking guy to his left, screen right, and a very nice-looking young woman to screen left to his right. It's the woman to the left, as you're looking at the screen, who, as he's speaking, her eyes start...
A little woozy.
Her body's getting limp, and she's starting to go down, and he finds out somehow. So let's do a little bit of... our own commentary, our own Mysteries Theater 3000 commentary on this. Okay, here's the president speaking.
To free families from
the
pervasive fear that one illness.
I'm not looking too good here.
Whoa.
How did he find out that she was going down? Whoa.
No,
And he said, this happens when I speak
this happens
too long.
when I talk too long.
And she tries to smile, and 4 people are holding her up, and they got to get off the screen! Get off the screen! You're making the president look bad. Let's see how he comes back. Well, he comes back and...
I heard she's going to get taken right to jail from the hospital.
You're not kidding.
For making him look bad.
Oh, man. That was pretty amazing. Well, sadly, with this invincible president, let's go to the next story, the GOP and a civil war. And 35 minutes after 5 o'clock on Monday the 21st, we got a ton of stuff for you today, folks, that's interesting and informative. And our little motto here is learn. We try to communicate some good information for you so you can also laugh. We try to provide a little bit of levity, just kind of natural. And the whole idea is to learn. So if you can, to live. If you can learn, laugh, you will live. That's what's essential in life. To be a student, to be able to laugh a little bit, and to live a vital, productive, enjoyable life.
That's why we provide the edutainment to help make it possible.
In fact, we do. And one way to entertain you is by taking a quick look at the absurd divisions in the Republican Party. It's no joke that, put the fiscal crisis, that thing right there. Fiscal crisis sounds the charge in what? What does it say?
GOP's Civil War.
You know what GOP stands for?
Grand Old Party.
Yeah, Grand Old Party,
Yeah.
Civil War. Who are the two sides in this Civil War?
The two sides are your standard run-of-the-mill rhino, old-school Republican Guard versus the new conservative, Tea Party-backed conservatives. In a nutshell.
That's in a nutshell. Rhinos, for those of you who maybe heard that term but aren't familiar with it, R-I-N-O, no H like rhinoceroses, though they're kind of like rhinoceroses. R-I-N-O, Republican in, Mike over here, Republican in name only. Republican in name only, rhinos. So who would be
John McCain.
Okay. You didn't even
Lindsey
let me ask
Graham.
the question. John McCain. John McCain is a rhino, and it kind of hurts me to say that because I'm familiar with his Vietnam service and being a prisoner of war, the Hanoi Hilton, all of that. But whatever happened to him in his political career, he has gone off the deep end. He is really a center-left politician who doesn't understand the threat of Islam and doesn't understand that at all, has sided with the wrong people, and has veered away from Republican principles. Now, here's the problem, folks, to all the Republicans out there. There is a written statement, and it's renewed annually, and it's validated for every election. It is the platform, and each particular principle is called a plank. As you build a platform, you have planks, whether it's a pro-life plank, whether it's a Medicare plank, whether it's an education plank. The party has a position on each of these issues. They are affectionately called planks. When you add them all together, you have a platform upon which the politicians in that party stand. So this is how it's supposed to work. So when a individual goes up the stairs on the planks to the platform of the Republican Party, the foundation upon which he is standing or she is standing ought to reflect the principles that that person wants integrated into society.
Makes sense.
Simple? Pretty simple? Pretty simple. Well, what's happened is some Republicans have come along with their buzz saws and their sawzalls and their hatchets and chopped those planks up. I see, there's a little shot of John McCain holding a big flag, though I don't think he unfurled that flag. It says, "I support terrorists." It's got, I think that's the...
FSA,
yeah,
the
that's
or the fake Syrian army.
Yeah. Because the Syrian flag is similar. Obviously, that's been photoshopped in, but that's his position. So that's the interesting thing. So the Republicans, critically important, and here's the essence of this civil war between the rhino Republicans in name only and the new Republicans, if you will.
Ted Cruz.
Tea Party, yeah, they're associated with the Tea Party. Tea Party people are saying, Ted Cruz, Mike Lee, others, are saying, Marco Rubio.
No.
Tried to sneak that one in. Marco Rubio.
No.
Marco Polo.
Nope.
Marco Polo. Are saying that, hey, the Republican Party has a set of principles upon which we ought to stand. Limited government, fiscal responsibility, which means balancing the damn budget. We're at, what, $17 trillion
and counting
right now? And the rhinos, Republicans in name only, or the old school, are saying, look, you guys you're fire breathers, you're young, you don't understand that the way you really run a country is you kind of bend these rules, you bend these principles.
You take the lobbyist money, you retire with a couple 10 mil in the bank, and don't worry about everything you told the people when you were trying to get elected.
Go along to get along. Let the wise senators really run things. You guys in the House, I mean, when the framers put together our government, they knew that you need two bodies. You need people that are fire breathers, if you will, citizen legislators. They work with their hands. They work in a blue-collar capacity. Maybe they own a small business. They worked in a market, and they bought a couple of them. They got 5 or 6
White-collar
markets.
entrepreneurs.
Yep, small, and they're going to go back to their businesses, but they feel a responsibility because the country has been great to them, allowed them to succeed, to contribute back through their experience and their wherewithal.
Now, they were called civil servants.
Civil servants, yes, not career politicians. That's where the problem occurred. And that's where, term limits or no term limits has killed us with no term limits.
Charlie Rangel.
And John McCain and many others, where the idea was to get these, we'll call them blue-collar workers, into government. They share their view, and it's going to be a little
Messy.
tempestuous and messy, yes. But that's how, in the cauldron of debate and discussion, that's how the best ideas come to the surface. The other body, the contemplative body,
The Senate.
of 100 people versus 435, they would take those ideas and kind of put them through a little bit of wisdom, a little bit of experience, and say, okay, let's stick with this. That was the idea.
To avoid the mob mentality, to avoid this sounds good at the moment, so let's do this. So the House, the feisty group, pushes the idea up to the Senate. They're a little bit more, the term they use is deliberative.
Yep.
And they go over it, and it's to get it so things aren't passed in an emotional haste.
And everybody is operating from the same playbook, the United States Constitution. Here's where things started to go off the rails back in the 1960s, actually. As the sexual revolution came in, which led to a revolution of epistemology, which is how you determine if something is true or moral. Once that fell apart, we entered what historians call a postmodern society, postmodern times, where logic for determining truth is no longer relevant. It's what I feel is true. Once you do that, and you feel two men getting married is true and beautiful, like in New Jersey yesterday, you celebrate these various things, and I heard one of the couples say, but other states don't accept us and recognize us. And I said to myself, well, that was the whole concept of states having states' rights if they don't want to move in a direction as someone else does, but the gay marriage movement thinks it's a federally protected right, and that's what they're working for.
And
Just
if
one
you
illustration.
disagree, you're part of a hate group.
You are a hater. If you morally disagree with gay marriage as I do, you are a hater.
Hater!
If you morally disagree with Islamic jihadis taking over America, you're a hater. See how this works?
Hater!
Truth and everything goes out the window. So now we have, according to the New York Times, right now, put that article back up, we have a situation of, right there, of a civil war in the grand old party, the Republican Party, brought about through this past fiscal crisis. Now, let's take a step back, and let's just lay out the groundwork a little bit for the Civil War, because I want to get in another civil war before we get through this hour.
Oh, you're talking about my people's
Your
civil war. This
yeah.
is your people's civil war. The other one is my people's civil war.
We got you coming up in a civil war.
Oh.
This civil war right here is going to be fought each and every day over the next 90 days, and it's really gearing up for 379. What's the number on our piece of paper? 379. 379 days from today is what?
Election Day.
4 November 2014. 5 days before we go to Israel again.
Oh, my goodness.
So 384 days from today, we're going back. Come with us. Let me hold your hand across the
I can't wait,
Jordan
Trento.
River.
I'm going this
You
time.
need to come, schmuck. How's Kings Point?
It is, it's the snowboards are starting to come back. It's filling up a little. By in the next month or two, it'll be all filled to capacity. the bingo will be going, the mahjong, the shuffleboard. You can't get caught.
Now you're unattached.
I am a widow.
Oh, okay. What about those widowettes? What do you call a woman widowette? A widow.
They're
Widowette?
called widows.
Widowette? Widowmaker?
They're just widows.
Just widow. What about those well-to-do widows from the north coming down playing shuffleboard?
They tend not to live so much in the King's Point.
Okay.
They're in the Boca, they're in the Polo Club.
Polo Club.
We're
You-
just paying the bills with the Social Security here.
You ever make your way over to the Polo Club? You're a
well,
dapper-looking guy.
I'm handsome
What do
for
you drive?
an-
What do you drive, by the way?
I drive a Buick.
A Buick.
I
think
drive a 1986 Buick.
I would have put you at a Camry for some reason, but
I wouldn't drive no Japanese crap.
okay.
I was in World War II.
Okay. Yes. And we fought them guys, didn't we?
Yes, some people forget.
That's it. All right. Good. Where were we?
Civil War.
Civil War. Well, the Civil War is going to be fought for the next 379 days, and the two sides are very simple. I think we can, for simplification reasons, say Tea Party candidates, politicians that the Tea Party supports are going to be on one side. And the battle was simply that the Tea Party conservatives were saying, close the government down. You know, who cares who looks bad politically? Do the right thing for the United States of America. Well, it's never right to close the government. No, it's completely wrong to keep trying to sustain something that's unsustainable. It's going to crash at some point. Tactically speaking, if the Republicans would have held out, President Obama had veterans dropping the gates, the barricades on his front lawn. The country was starting to see that the president and his policies were at the center of the impasse regarding Obamacare, that all he had to do was push it back a year to look at all the various problems within, but he didn't. Republicans caved, Tea Party politicians were upset, thus the Civil War. Keep your eyes on that. We're going to look very, very carefully at that.
Can I give you a little bit of why I think he is so inflexible and his...
And invincible.
I think a lot of it has to do with his Arab mentality, the Muslim mentality of honor and shame, and giving up anything in a negotiation is viewed as a sign of weakness. And I think his approach to politics,
His being the president.
his approach is that Muslim honor shame mentality, to where giving an inch is viewed as weakness.
Well, you beg the question, which I get asked every time I speak anywhere, is do you think the president's a Muslim?
I'm not saying he's a Muslim. Islam had a great influence on his life. You can't be born to a Muslim father, then your next father, your stepfather, is Muslim, and you go to school in a madrasa, and you can't have your best friend in college is a Muslim. He gets you into Afghanistan. Where'd he go? Pakistan or Afghanistan, when no one else could. Listen, there's no doubt Islam has a factor. I'm not calling him a practicing Muslim. I'm saying his mentality and his tactics are very much out of the Islamic honor and shame.
Good point. Very good point. One of the ways I answer that question, I say, according to whom? You're asking me if the president is a Muslim, according to whom?
Allah.
According to Allah, absolutely.
Yes, absolutely, according to Allah.
According to Islam. Again, we're analysts of Islamic doctrine. So when you ask the question, is President Obama a Muslim, you have to say, well, let's go to Islamic doctrine. How do they define whether or not someone's a Muslim? It's very simple.
Is your father a Muslim?
If your old man be a Muslim, you be a Muslim. Just the opposite, coincidentally.
With it in Judaism.
Yeah, because whatever the Jews did, the Muslims had to do the opposite of. Isaac is the son of sacrifice. Nope, it's Ishmael's the son of sacrifice. So in Judaism, if your mother is Jewish, you be Jewish. Well, in Islam, if your father is Islamic, you be Islamic. President Obama, from Islamic doctrine, from Islamic theology, from Islamic authoritative teaching, is a Muslim. Very simple. Now, according to President Obama,
He's a Christian.
He has to be brought into this. He has renounced Islam. He left Islam.
He's an
And
apostate.
according to Islamic doctrine, he's an apostate, and he became a Christian. And that's his position. So
That's what he claims to be.
claims.
Even though you could say the Christian church that he became a part of, Pastor Jeremiah Wright's church, has very little to do with Christianity. It has more to do with Marxist communism than it does to do with Jesus Christ Christianity.
yeah, it's as a Christian who knows this stuff fairly well, President Obama's Christianity is unrecognizable to me doctrinally. Has nothing to do with the Bible. Has a lot to do with liberation theology, which is that the Bible's simply a metaphor for
Fainting at the...
well, yeah, like fainting. That the underprivileged class is being suppressed and hindered by the ruling class, and where Jesus came to give life to those who were underprivileged. The same way liberation theology gives political life to those who are economically disadvantaged. That's liberation theology. He holds to that. But from a governance point of view, from a political governance point of view, our analysis is that President Obama functions, rules, governs as if he were a Muslim, which is your point, 9 out of 10 times when dealing with Islamic issues. So,
And particularly to a sect more than the other.
the Sunni side of the equation, which is the
Absolutely.
Muslim Brotherhood, though he is making nice with the Shia side because there are reciprocal benefits, he thinks, politically for him right now.
Well,
along
also
those
you
lines.
have to look who his closest advisor is.
Oh, you mean the Iranian Valerie Jarrett?
That would be her.
Born in Iran?
So, it's... Listen, as Claire
need
Lopez
a
has said...
playbook.
As Claire Lopez has said, as much as they hate each other, the Sunnis and the Shias will work together as long as it's against the more common enemy being us and Israel and the Jews. Okay? Say us, the United States, Israel meaning Israel the country, and Jews meaning Jews anywhere. Okay? As long as they can harm the big Satan or the little Satan, they will work together to do that. Then they'll go back to killing each other, which we know they're so good of, which brings us back to my Civil War.
Oh, let's go to Dearborn, Michigan. Okay, here's the story. Next story. First, put the story up, and I think we're going to have to continue this tomorrow, which will be perfect, actually, because we're always fighting that 1 hour clock. And if you'd like to see us have more hours, we need like music now, fundraising music. If you'd like to see Tom and see, I hear the phones are ringing. If you'd like to see Tom Trento and CJ, who's not here today, and Mark and Mike and Damon and all the others, coming to you here on WNN 1470, TrentoVision.tv, theunitedwest.org. All you have to do is go to theunitedwest.org, little button, donate securely. You can indeed donate securely. We made sure. If you want to give big, large chunks of money, you can do it. If you want to give a minimum of $18 per month, we appreciate it. We're trying to expand the $18 and $25 a month donors so that we can budget our work a little more. We're in the process of expanding this small studio to a larger one where we can have audiences in here and do some very specific investigative. We have one audience participant today, four-legged one, investigative reports. But here's the story. Let's put the story up about the wonderful Hajj experience, the Holy Land, our holy pilgrimage right there. This is on front page news by the Intrepid.
Front page mag.
And absolutely fabulous writer Daniel Greenfield.
A friend of yours.
Friend of mine, friend of ours, of the work we do. And Daniel is one of the most prolific, insightful, unique, powerful writers there is on cultural issues, particularly the jihad.
He probably writes 20 articles a week.
He just pounds stuff out. I've asked him to come on the show, and he just prefers to write. He's one of these guys that stays in the background and lets his writings do his speaking, and man does his speak. He's got an article today on Front Page Magazine. It says, "Our holy pilgrimage will be complete once we have killed you, ripped out your hearts, and raped your women." Okay, now Pope Francis said this the other day when he was speaking in Madrid.
No, he didn't.
No, wasn't this Pope Francis that
No,
says?
no. Actually,
Oh,
it
Billy
wasn't.
Graham. Billy Graham.
No.
said,
No.
Man, I got this wrong.
You do.
Who said that?
And it was actually happened in Mecca at the Hajj. Yeah.
The holy of holy
Yeah.
places.
No, you're thinking about the Pope gave his first speech in English earlier today. This was a different one.
Okay. So at the Hajj, the Sunni Muslims said, our holy pilgrimage for Sunni Muslims in a Sunni country will be complete once we have killed you. Who's the you?
Oh, that would be the Shias visiting from Dearborn, Michigan.
I don't get this.
Yeah.
I don't get this. He asked
See, I
quizzically.
remember a while. I don't know if you remember this. There was a big thing up in Dearborn, Michigan, big Muslim festival parade, and when wait, you were there.
Okay.
Right. So anyway, it was those people, the ones that were throwing stones at you and Alan.
It wasn't me. No.
The ones that were throwing stones and abusing Alan.
Alan
and the guys.
got beat up. We were there several times.
Okay.
Alan got beat up one year, and we pressed charges. The next year, we didn't go because the lawsuit was going on, and a group of our friends, it turned out they were friends, got stoned by the Dearborn Shia Muslims.
Right. Well, those Dearborn Shia Muslims
The same ones
The
that
same
stoned the
ones
Christians in Dearborn,
went
they went
to Saudi Arabia for Hajj last
Get outta
week.
here.
Yeah. Well, they have to. Yes, we have to do it at least one time in our life.
Shia can go to Sunni places?
Well, here's the problem. As you read here, we do not, a Sunni do not like the filthy, heretical Shia one bit. You want to come to Hajj? You're taking your life in your own hands. You are the minority. You are come where you are not liked. What happens, happens.
Let me get this straight for our audience. Tom Trento here on WNN 1470 Radio. And our big idea today, folks, is this is a crazy world, okay? We got the invincible President Obama having people faint at the Rose Garden. He smiles and carries on, and America say everything's great. That's a metaphor for his whole friggin' administration falling apart. Wake up. We need many of you who sense something is wrong to find your wherewithal, find your moral compass, and get involved in fighting this administration. The big idea today in our show is the world is crazy, and we're here to help you understand it. So we got the president in America, but now we got some of our own citizens, American citizens from Dearborn, Michigan, wonderful Muslim Shia citizens who stoned the hell out of a group of Christians a year ago. Remember the video we put together? Over 1 million or 2 million hits. They literally stoned 9 Christians, about 200 of them. Tomorrow, be here tomorrow, 5 o'clock, WNN 1470 on the radio, TrentoVision.tv or theunitedwest.org. We're going to show you Dearborn Shia Muslims stoning 9 Christians where they're cowering and hiding, getting hit, and the Dearborn police laughing and watching. Well, guess what happened to those same Shia Dearborn Muslims? They decided to go to Mecca and accomplish the goal of a lifetime, to stand there and be in the holy place. Only problem is they got the crap kicked out of them by Sunni Muslims who said they're going to rip their heart out and kill them because they're Shias. What sense does that make? Tune in tomorrow. We'll show you the whole thing.